here, all I want you to do is thrust me through it. Amen. He could not live no longer without his son. Amen. But I told you before, I'm trying to get everything all wrapped up so I can get to where I'm going. Amen. But Jonathan and David had been together for a long time, and they had made a blood covenant with each other. Amen. They were the best of friends. It said even that they loved each other. Amen. That's how close of friends they was. There was nothing sexual. There was nothing perverted about that. Amen. They were in love as friends. Amen. They had a covenant, a love for, sometimes a love like that will even be stronger than family. Amen. Sometimes a love like that you have with a friend. Amen. That would do anything for you. Amen. Anytime the phone ring, amen, you needed something, that friend would be there, and vice versa. You'd be the same for them. Amen. Amen. Something happened. Saul and Jonathan both got killed, and word went back to the temple, or to the where they were at. Amen. To the, what's it called where kings stay? Palace. Thank you. It slipped my mind. I'm thinking here and trying to talk back here. Amen. Goes to the palace. Word comes to the palace that Jonathan and Saul both are dead. The king is dead, and his son, amen, the caretaker of Mephibosheth, wraps the baby up, takes it, and runs out the door out of fear that baby would be next. And out of her haste, as she's running down the steps of the palace, she trips and falls, and the little baby falls and broke both his legs. Amen. But all of that happened because of hearsay. And all of that happened because of what somebody had planted into somebody else's mind. Something, amen, it wasn't truth. But out of fear, she was doing what she thought was best for that baby. Amen. But out of that, something happened, a mistake happened. Amen. And that baby fell. But they picked the baby back up and took him away in hiding. Remember, here is the prince's child, prince's son. They took this prince's son to a place called Lodabar. Amen. He went from the palace, amen, to the desert. Lodabar means a place of no pasture. And you know why there's no pasture? Because there was no water to water anything. Amen. It was dry and arid. As a matter of fact, I read in one commentary, it said nobody wanted to go to Lodabar, and nobody wanted to be from Lodabar. Amen. But it was a place. But here was the son of the prince. Amen. That had risen up. Amen. That could have been at one time, may have been able to be the king. But now he went from the palace down to the Lodabar. Amen. Where nobody wanted to be. To the lowest of lowest. But you know what? His ranking never changed. Amen. He was still the son of Jonathan. Amen. But he wasn't in the palace no more. Well, things happened. Amen. And David took over as king and moved into the palace, and it comes to the point where one time David is sitting there looking at all he had. Look at all his servants. Come on. Amen. All he had to do was say a word, and they would bring him his cup and just get him a drink. Matter of fact, if he wanted to use the bathroom, they probably picked him up and took him in there. Amen. He was the king. He was looking around at all this glory that he had, and he was thinking, oh, I remember. Probably wept, shed a tear in remembrance of that friend he once had. At one time when they were young, my microphone just, oh, there it goes. When they were young, they draw blood from each other, amen, and they combined each other's blood into each other's wound, amen, and made a covenant that their friendship would last forever. Amen. No matter what. Amen. They were not blood as family. Amen. But they were blood as a covenant. Amen. As a promise to each other. Amen. And as David was probably thinking about his friend Jonathan, he said, man, is there anybody that still, it's a shame that line, that heritage is just gone out of what happened. And he said, he told his people, is there anybody in the lineage of Jonathan and Saul, is there anybody still left? They said, well, we know of a servant that used to be Saul's servant. We'll bring him in and ask him. So they bring in Ziba, and Ziba comes in and says, well, I only know of one person, and that's the son of Jonathan. His name is Mephibosheth. You know what Mephibosheth means? Does anybody? I had to go up here and look because I done forgot myself. It means destroying shame. Destroying shame. That's kind of a thing. But you know, Ziba said, there's one left. He's the son of Jonathan, but he's lame in his feet. He never mentioned his name before this. He never mentioned his name, but he mentioned his abnormality.
Bless him, Lord.
His name was Mephibosheth, the son of the king. But no longer was he known as who he was, but what he was. The little lame boy.
Amen.
Church, we all got our problems. We all got our frailties. We all got issues. We all got these things. And they said, there's one that's left, the son of Jonathan. He's lame in his feet. That's what he was known by, church. He wasn't known by, oh, he was the 3-year-old son of Jonathan. His name is Mephibosheth. He was one day going to rule. But he was known as, he was lame on his feet. David said, well, go get him. His servants did what he said to do. They got the horse and chariots. They went down to Lodabar. And then probably didn't really want to go there. Amen. Bobby, sometimes you got to go to some bad places to get
Amen.
really
Amen.
Amen. For sure.
I got to say that again. Sometimes you got to go to some
Amen.
bad places to get to the people that really need it.
Yes. Have your way, Lord.
Mephibosheth, sitting in his little hut, relying on somebody every day to. That's just a parallel right there. David was in his kingdom. Amen. And all he had to do was ask. Even though he was able to do it himself, he had servants to do it. But Mephibosheth was unable to do it and had to rely on those people.
Come on.
Amen. Isn't it amazing? Somebody brought Mephibosheth everything he needed. Somebody brought David everything he needed.
Amen.
Amen. But Mephibosheth had to have somebody because he wasn't able to do it.
Amen.
David was blessed.
Amen.
Amen. Because he was king and people willing. He paid people to do it. Come on.
Amen.
Sometimes, oh my. Thank
Bless
the
him,
Holy
Lord.
Spirit, sometimes the people you pay are more loyal.
Come on.
Amen.
Come on.
Preach it. Amen.
Come on. Have your way, Lord.
Some people you pay to
Amen.
are more loyal than the ones that should do it out of love.
That's right. Amen.
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 Knocks on the door. Little hut, Mephibosheth. Couldn't imagine the fear. You know how, listen, in my mind, it don't say this in the Bible, and I have to tell this all the time now because a guy in the prison once told me it did not say that in the Bible. I said it didn't say it. I didn't say it was in the Bible. I said this is how I see it. Amen. But you can look at these things and understand that something was wrong with Mephibosheth. All his life, I guarantee you, somebody said, you're just a little lame boy.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing.
Amen.
How do I know that? Because he called himself a dead dog.
Yeah.
He had no self-esteem.
Preach it.
Couldn't you imagine all the time that Mephibosheth was in Lodabar? Somebody having to bring his food. Amen. like I said a while ago, David, if he wanted to use the restroom, they somebody come and got him and took him just because, I mean, I don't know that, but you know what I'm saying? But here Mephibosheth couldn't go by himself.